Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to The Dose. The Magic Man, Mark Hutchins on the mic, joined by Mr. Jereme Kleven. Yes, the dolphin.
Good one.
Love it.
Thank you, Byron.
And Byron,
Yeah.
behind the glass.
Oh,
That's all you are today.
That's all I am today.
Byron behind the glass.
It's just me.
Yes. And of course, back in the house, Lisa Roberts. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, good morning.
Twice in a row. And we're going to see you a couple more days, too. That's fantastic. I'm excited.
Love it.
So let's dive. Actually, before we dive in, let's just say today is Workshop Wednesday, starting at 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock at the Scottsdale office. Come one, come all, from basic to advanced. Come in to learn, see what we're doing, and get edumacated.
Edumacated.
We'll see y'all today again, today, 9 o'clock, Scottsdale office. All right, now we'll dive in. Now we'll push in. So we talked yesterday how you got started, a couple other things, the rental success you had your first year, how you kind of just did what you had to do, you did what it takes, you got to work, and you stuck to it and stayed consistent. Now to year 2 into the business, you started seeing some of those renters turn to buyers. You said the landlords turned to sellers. Maybe talk about some of the business principles that you use then that maybe you are implementing today that are part of your business or your pillars, your things that you do, maybe 2, 3, maybe there's 5 things that you do very, very well, and how it's helped you stay consistent with your business and keep growing, because all you do is keep growing. I mean, you're going crazy. I love it.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
From hustling to now it's just a lot of referrals I'm getting. And
So what are some of those principles? How do you manage those referrals? How are you staying on top of your database?
Well,
Is there some particular systems? Is it good old fashioned phone?
I use Top
Thank you
Producer.
cards? Okay.
So I try to stay consistent. It's very, very difficult to try to be on there all the time and putting it in there. But at least by the time a deal closes, I make sure I have their name in there, when their birthday is, and when they closed. So when I can go through the database and, send them an anniversary card when they've been there for a year. Oh, you've lived in your house for a year. Or once 9 months have come by, if I put them in as a tenant, by the time it's 9 months, I say, hey, are you looking to renew your lease, or do we want to get started with looking at properties to buy? Obviously, I have lenders that I work with and kind of set them up on another portal and say, hey, if we're looking to buy, this is the price point we're going to be in, this is what we're going to qualify you under, and just stay on top of them so I could help them navigate through where their next step is going to be for where they're going to go.
So you mentioned offline too, one of, I think that, not to put, words in your mouth, but it seems to me like one of your principles, or one of the things that I think that your business is built on, is good old fashioned hard work. Mm-hmm. So where did you find that? Because that doesn't come easy, right? I mean,
Seriously, it's a good question.
I think you just have it or you don't. I mean, for me, I just want every one of my clients to really be happy that they've worked with me. And I treat every client like I am that person that I want to help. So if I were in their shoes, I would just, want someone hustling for me and answering their phone and getting back. And whether it's someone, renting a $1,200 property, or if it's someone buying a $2 million house, I'm just available for them. And I think being available means a lot, because a lot of other, agents may not be available. And when they're not available, yeah, I am. So, and I just know that if you treat them very well, they're going to refer you to everyone they know. So every transaction that I work, I go, you know what, I need to put in 120%, because this transaction is going to lead to them referring to me to everyone at their office. So just
any ways throughout the transaction that you try to set yourself apart to create that, that experience in the transaction that really gets you remembered.
Just being one step ahead of them from the very moment I meet them. If they're going to be turning into buyers, I give them what's called a buyer's guide. Navigating them through, hey, here's a buyer's guide for you. You guys can go through this. It teaches you the whole way from the buying process. Of course, I'm going to be available for you 24/7 if you have any questions, but take a look at this. So that's the very first time I meet them. I'm sure, many other agents may not have something like that, but one thing that you provide to them that, is of value, whether they read it or not, is not the point. It's the point that shows you care.
Right.
And, being one step ahead of them, just letting them know, okay, when we're going under contract on a property, you're going to have 10 days to, do your due diligence, and we have inspectors and everything that we need to do to be one step ahead. So they're not asking you the questions, you're telling them what's coming next. So they're not going to get confused, because sometimes they're going to be first-time home buyers. I mean, even dealing with people that have sold 20 homes come up to me and say, hey, communicating. The fact that I communicate so much and I hold their hand, it's so much better to over communicate than under communicate.
Well, you're being proactive and you're setting the expectation up front. And that's what so many people just don't do, period.
Right.
Same on the listing side. So that's good. I mean, that's amazing that you're doing that.
And especially on the listing side, one important thing to do that could always kill a transaction is meeting an appraiser. I mean, that's one thing that many agents really should do is always making sure you meet an appraiser, because that's something that could kill a deal. And I'm present for every single one of my listings, even sometimes buyers, to make sure a property appraises. Because if it doesn't appraise, you can.
It's smart.
Yeah, you could be in trouble.
So your first year, leading into the next couple of years, your first year when you started out with renters, was that like low hanging fruit to you? What made you start with that?
Well, I just didn't know how to get business, so I was just dealing with them, wanted to help them, and I figured, hey, if I'm closing 5 rentals in a week, and I'm making anywhere from say $200 to $1,000, well, that's like closing one sale, and it's 5 times the work, and you're dealing with everything that you're having to deal with. But I didn't have to pay to get those leads. Anyone who wants to get business and is a realtor can get business from a renter
right now. That's why I wanted to.
No one wants to deal with them, but it's so easy. If you need help finding renters, feel free to call me. I'll help you. It's so simple, and you want to get business, and even though it's low-hanging fruit and you're not getting much money, well, do you want to sit around and ponder, how do I get business? Well, you could at least get business dealing with renters, because they're everywhere.
Yep.
And you got your first listing from a renter.
Yeah.
$3 million listing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so what's a follow-up process look like? Obviously, I'm sure it's evolved. I'm sure your follow-up process now with your clients is probably different. But what was that follow-up process, and or what should that look like? For the agents out there right now that are going to take you up on this idea or this funnel of business and going after the renters. Okay, now that you put a renter in the place, what's that right time to follow up with them?
Sometimes right away, depending on who they are. If it's a renter that was moving into a furnished property, sometimes it's immediately, because if they're moving into a furnished property, it could be that they're a snowbird and they're wanting to buy a condo immediately. It could be someone that's in a divorce situation relocating, and they want property in a few months once they get familiar with the area. So as soon as I meet them, let them know, hey, I specialize in Scottsdale. I'd be happy to help you start looking for a property and get more familiar. We'll get in the car, start looking around. I know might not be ready for 3 months, 6 months, but I'm available for you. So let's get in the car. Let's start looking, so you can figure out, what communities you want to be in,
right.
where are the areas that you like, and, we can get started. Talk to a lender, because a few months from now, time flies. It's going to take 45 days to close, and if you're not familiar with the area, then, we're not going to find you the absolute perfect property. So it's just a matter of, from the moment you're closing that rental, you're opening up the transaction for, let's buy. No matter if it's furnished, furnished, unfurnished, whatever their situation might be.
So it's really up to the individual and how they kind of want to communicate with you. We talk about that all the time. You got to communicate with the folks how they want to communicate with you, really.
Right. And a lot of them too like to get on the portal. Whether or not they get on the portal, it's always great to follow up with them. You can see when they log on to the portal. So whether or not you see them logging on, that's a perfect question to send them an email or drop them a line and say, hey, have you been on the portal? It could be the day that they logged in, they did, but they don't need to know that you know that.
Asking, correct.
Yes, and that just opens it up for, hey, you want to start looking for properties. When are you available? And
such an underutilized tool in our industry.
Yeah,
everyone's looking for the CRM. The MLS being a CRM.
Mm-hmm.
So when I know you have one more year till we're 30, 29 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel, I guess, as a millennial, do you feel that there's, how do you cater to, folks your age? Is there a different way that they want to be communicated with? I know this is kind of the hot topic in our industry right now, the rise of the millennials, and they're coming, obviously to take up a large piece of our market share.
Yeah.
Do you pay attention to that at all?
Yeah. The younger crowd is definitely more involved in, the technical aspect and social media and, being quick with DocuSign and everything else. And the older people, you need to hold their hand more and sometimes sit belly to belly more and, have them sign the actual paperwork. They need to see paper when you're dealing with them. But when you talk to them, you get familiar very quickly. At least it's easy for me to understand how they work, what their hot buttons are for how they want to look at homes or sell their home. And you need to communicate with them that way, whether it's text or whatever it might be. But as far as listing appointments go, I think I used to think that it hurt me more as far as me being younger to get listings, but now it's done nothing but help me. because I'm just so passionate and driven and I work so hard, and I'm able to show my clients every time I sit down with them what I'm able to do from a technical standpoint. Would you rather work with someone that's been in the business 30 years, that is doing the same thing over and over again, going through the motions, and now might be part-time, but they're just taking listings, or working with someone that's going to be hustling for them, passionate, has the proven track record, is able to do this, and this for you, that an agent that maybe 30 years ago something worked for them that isn't working now. So I just think it's more of an asset now to be younger than it is to be older. So
you took something that you looked at as potentially a weakness, and you're turning around and playing that to your strength.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. And that's with whatever you're willing to do with whatever age you are. Some people are willing to do certain things and others aren't. And it's really kind of staying within your lane and playing to those strengths and highlighting those things. So you don't really know where you got that work ethic from, this amazing work ethic that you talk about. You weren't born with it, maybe, or you figure it out.
You either have it or you don't.
Okay, so you're a big believer. You're kind of born with it, because I know some people go along or go through the motions for a while, and then all of a sudden they maybe kind of find that, and they can tailor it back to a time that they made a decision.
I've always been that way. For me, I graduated from college in 3 years. I just wanted to take as many classes as I could, finish as fast as I could. And just get out as fast as I could, and, not be under, my family's wing of, them paying for things. And I just wanted to make my own money and do my own thing. And same thing from, right after I graduated, the company that I worked for, and started my own company doing that, and, became a realtor. And you just got to do your own thing, working hard. I've always had it in me.
Oh, we love it. We've admired your business from afar for a while. You're doing big. Ever since we were on the cover of the magazine together, I've been watching you doing it 40 under 40s.
Two local stars.
So we, does it drive you to outproduce your cousin?
No, not yet. You better watch out though, Bloom. I'm coming after you.
Yes, I like that, Bloom. Let's end on that, because we're out of time for today, because that's a good one for you to ponder now, Bloom. Have a great day, guys. Stay again tomorrow for more Lisa Roberts. Have a great day. See ya.
Bye bye.